I got to keep 100 today with y'all, man. As a guy that, who over the years I've been critical of Hangman Page, obviously, with all the weird virtue signaling and stuff, and we're about to talk about it right here as well. Another example. In 4K. But for the most part, I've actually been a supporter of Hangman Page, a guy that's come from my home state of Virginia. As I mentioned plenty of times on this channel throughout the years, Maven and Kid Cash, hometown guys for me, damn near. But I gotta call a spade a spade. I gotta call it a buck. Gotta keep it 100. Gotta be honest. Adam Hangman Page, who is now your AEW World Champion again. And for everybody that was screaming and hooting and hollering about Jon Moxley being and having a boring run and him being champion, everybody was hooting and hollering still about Cody Rhodes being champion. And don't get me wrong, they aren't the greatest. They aren't the worst either as the world champions. But the proof is all in the pudding. The proof is in the numbers. The proof is in the ratings. Adam Hangman Page, the 2 times that he's been AEW World Champion, the ratings have literally plummeted for AEW. But that's neither here nor there when we're talking about this conversation. It's just that when we're talking about a macro conversation instead of micro conversations, which is what we see a lot on Twitter, you kind of have to take that into account. So let's go ahead, hit that like, that subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and hear Adam Hangman Page talk about, I guess, his most recent virtue signal, which is actually calling the AEW World Championship the AEW Men's World Championship. So let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say about this.
In professional wrestling, historically, it has been the case that, the men's division, it's largely, separated by sex, gender. The men's division has been billed as the world champion. That is the person you're coming to the arena to see. It's the world champion. And then women's wrestling, as it gained steam historically, they've created a separate championship that is the women's world championship. And to me, that
2 + 2 = 4. We get it. It's been that way forever. Now, a few years ago, NXT tried to do the whole NXT. They tried to call the NXT Women's Championship the NXT Championship, and it started getting super confusing. Just the other week, when I watched the Chelsea Green and Julia match, and Chelsea Green won she became a 2-time United States Women's Champion. They didn't say United States Women's Champion; they just said United States Champion. So I did catch that as well. That, to me, I'd rather them do that, even though I don't really like that either. You call it the Women's United States Championship or the United States Women's Championship, one or the other. But you don't just say United States Championship. So I got to call it a bean, right? Got to keep it 100. Got to be fair. WWE is kind of doing the same thing as well, except they're not going as gay with it as AEW is, or at least as Hangman Page is trying to make it be.
Always seemed like, if you have to specify that one's for the women and the other one is the world championship, it felt like it created this hierarchy where one, you're telling the viewer and the audience that one of them is more important than the other. And I don't think that that's the way that our fans...
Well, it's a fact. The AEW World Championship is more important than the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, am I saying that the AEW Women's World Championship match is always going to be worse than the men's world title match? No. Am I saying that the AEW Women's World Championship should never main event Dynamite or main event a pay-per-view, which it has done with both? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is sometimes there's a reason why there's history. There's a reason why there's things in place. There's a reason why we've carried on certain traditions, not just throughout sports, but again, professional wrestling is kind of a little bit from every facet of entertainment, but also its own thing. Certain things you have to keep in play. Certain traditions you have to keep. This is one of them. Everything, and it's funny because I keep complaining about the shit going on in AEW. I don't even watch AEW like that. But they keep popping up on my shit, doing dumb shit, having people showing up to their arenas, showing up for these shows, and then they say that doesn't work for me, brother, and they don't have a squirt of piss to even to even go along with their name, to go anywhere. And then you have to deal with the gayness. Now you have to deal with your world champion saying, we're not AEW world champions, it's men world champions now. So we're going to be the men's tag team champions. We're going to be the men's, not the Intercontinental title, whatever the fuck their middle title is, their mid-card title. And we are a national champion or whatever the fuck it's called. I am the AEW men's world champion. Like, do you know how gay that sounds? Like, and I know I use that word a lot, but this literally is the perfect term to describe this. Is gay. It's gay.
Feel any longer, and I feel like, specifying myself as men's world champion, just in the opportunities that, I get to speak about the championship or being the champion throughout my career, I think specifying that maybe kind of, it just, asks people to stop and think, whether it's fans, the audience, or whether it's people involved in wrestling, decision makers, or the wrestlers themselves to kind of, I've tried to do that. I've always tried to institute small little changes in the world that I'm involved in to make.
Yeah, this is a horrible fucking change. And don't ever do it again. And don't ever let anybody that's around you try and gaslight you into thinking that was a good idea, because it is not. It wasn't. Please stop. You should have got some help. This is the same guy that advocated for the trans stuff a couple years ago. Him and Kenny Omega. And that's fine. You want to wear, gay supportive stuff and gear and stuff like that, and sell your gay supportive merch. Cool. Good for you. Good on you. But when it starts affecting, when your soft-mindedness and your gayness and your virtue signaling and all this other stuff, your propaganda shit, starts affecting the actual product that's already failing, by the way, you have a problem, Houston. A big one. Because this guy, it's not like he's the top baby face of the company. No. This guy's your world champion too. You got Darby Allin, who's not even going to last another 10 years in the business, because this guy just does every fucking stunt imaginable. So he's going to be gone in about 5 or 10 years probably. Because his body's going to be Dunsky. Completely. You retired Sting last year. Ricky Starks is gone. Cody's gone. CM Punk is gone. Nobody's seen Britt Baker in literally a year. Toni Storm is probably the best thing you got going on, and her act is getting stale real quick. And yet you guys still, after all these years, after the whole CM Punk thing that I talked about for an entire month, by the way, just a few years ago, with the trans stuff and the gay supporting, support this and support that, trans kids this and trans kids that. And now here we are in 2025, and you're wanting to make the World Championship men's World Championship. So now what you're going to do, now what you're saying is it is on the same level as the Women's World Championship. To me, what Adam Hangman Page has done just now, he has devalued your world title that was already pretty much devalued to begin with, because let's not forget when CM Punk was at the media scrum a few years ago after winning a world championship, he talked about everything under the sun, roasted everybody under the sun on top of that, and did not once in that media scrum did he ever mention winning a world championship. And still to this day, I do believe that devalues that world title. You're sitting up there eating cupcakes and drinking chocolate milk and cussing everybody out, including the media, which I'm not opposed to any of that. But at the same time, you can't talk about becoming World Heavyweight Champion. You can't talk about becoming AEW World Champion. And then 3 years later, this is what we're getting. It's no longer the AEW World Championship. It is the AEW Men's World Championship. As if we didn't fucking already know, Hangman. You know, wrestling is dying on its own already. It's never going to be as mainstream as they're trying to make it be. As they continue to fall flat on their faces, as they're trying to make wrestling the most mainstream thing as possible. It's never going to be that. So let's stop trying to do that. Let's stop trying to pander to people who are not fans already. Because you're losing the ones that you already have. You're losing the actual fans that you already have. I've seen this happen time and time and time and time and time again when it comes to different fandoms and entertainment. And yet for years, I've been warning professional wrestling to stop going this route. Stop pandering to these fucking weirdos who don't care about the game. I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm overreacting. Hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit me up in the comments. It's your boy, Corn, and I am OUT.